Hey guys, how are you doing today? I'm Coach B. Wiley. And if you don't know anything about me, if you just stumbled upon my page, whether you're watching this live on TikTok or on YouTube, I am a certified professional life coach. I specialize in dating and communicating, and I'm also a self-published author. So if you like content on dating and communicating, feel free to like, share, subscribe. If you ever have any questions for me that you would like for me to address in a video such as this, I can do that for you. Feel free to email me dating tips at coachbwiley.net, or just shoot me a DM or put it in the comments below. Now, on this Good Palm Sunday, I wanted to talk about toxic guys. I was watching Buying Beverly Hills on Netflix. Have you guys watched that? Well, if you watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kyle Richards is married to Mauricio Umansky, and he has a real estate agency called The Agency. And they created it, well, they turned it into a reality show called Buying Beverly Hills. So it's on season 2, and it's really good. And so one of the girls on there, one of the daughters, one of Kyle's daughters, has been engaged to this guy. I don't know how long they've been together, but I know they've been together for a few years, and they have been engaged for a year and a half. And so she really wants to be married. She really wants to have kids. She's in her 30s, great looking girl, great profession, has it going on, quality woman. Well, what they're talking about on this season, part of her story is why this dude won't marry her, because they went from being engaged to living together. Now they're engaged, but they're not living together anymore. And everyone is just wondering what's going on. And they're coming from a loving place, and they believe she is a guy that wants to marry her. And she believes, and they believe he just isn't the guy. Not saying he's a scumbag. He's just not the guy for her. So when I'm hearing all this and I'm looking at it, it triggered something in me to do a video, because one of the things she said on there, she was talking to one of her coworkers, and she's engaged, and you can tell from her energy she is hurting. They're having trouble for whatever reasons, because relationships can be trouble, dating, whatever, but there is something deeper going on. And from the outside looking in, and I've seen this before in women, it looks as if she doesn't believe that if she doesn't marry him, she's going to be able to then be blessed to marry someone else. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that's the energy of it. That doesn't make it facts. That's just my opinion. And it made me think of you that's watching this, who are in this dating situation, and you've been with this person for X amount of time, been dating this person for X amount of years, months, whatever. And your intention is to date, to get married. However, it's not going that way, because what he wants isn't aligning with what you want. Even though he's saying it, his actions are showing you, nah, this ain't it. Not really trying to do it. You can see it. You can feel it in your gut. Your friends see it. Your mom, your dad, everybody sees it. No one's trying to force you out of this dating situation, but they definitely see that what you want and what he wants is not alignment. It's not in alignment. And they want the best for you, and you want the best for you, but you feel what I hear a lot of women say, I feel stuck. And the thing is, you're not stuck. Now, what does this have to do with a guy being toxic? I'm not saying that young lady's dude is toxic. I'm not saying that. However, I do want to say that proposing to someone, acting as if you want to marry them because you know that's what they want, and then dragging out that proposal, not planning a freaking marriage or a wedding, excuse me, and just acting like you're gonna propose just to shut them up. That's toxic. You don't ever want to propose to anyone. You don't ever want to date a guy who pursues you, asks you to be in a relationship with him, to be exclusive, and then next thing you know, he has no more plans for you. He quits pursuing you. He quits courting you. He quits opening the door for you. He quits really putting it, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. He quits putting in any effort. That ain't right. So I came up right before I got on here with 6 characteristics of a toxic guy. So we're going to talk about the woman who feels like they're stuck when they're dating a guy, feeling like they're not going to be able to do better because they invested so much time. And then we're going to talk about right now the toxic traits and characteristics of a toxic dude. So the first one that I wrote down, because if you're questioning, is this dude toxic? Is it me? Am I in my head? Have I forgiven the guys from my past that done me wrong? If you have those kinds of questions, this video is for you. So the first thing you can notice about a toxic guy Excuse me, I'm super stuffed. I'm calling a doctor, honey, next week because my allergy situation has been going on for 8 weeks as of next week, and it is a problem and something is wrong. So, anyway, the first thing characteristic about a toxic guy, and I have this, and you remember these, side note, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get on with the list. You used to sniff this. I'm not gonna do it on camera. I'm gonna step off camera and do it. But you sniff this and it's supposed to help. It's Himalayan pink salt nasal inhaler. It's cooling and it's for my congestion. So hold the line. All right. The first toxic guy characteristic is that he is self-serving. What does it look like when someone is self-serving? It means that they literally spot you. They go out of their way to ask you out on a date, get your number, and then everything that they're doing with you is to please them. Usually, when you meet a self serving guy, he generally just has one goal in mind, one objective, and that is to sleep with you. Because what does that do for him? It serves himself. That is a goal from him. That's what he sees you as, something to do, something to screw to please himself, and then he'll do it either one time and be done, or he'll do it a multitude of times and be done. It doesn't, I don't know how many times, it just depends on the dude, but that is a guy who is serving himself. He's doing everything he can with you to actually for it to circle back and please him. So self-serving guys are a no-go. Number two, you also have the self-centered guy. And what does that look like? I dated a guy who was, I will say he was kind of self-centered. And what that looks like is, in the beginning, when you're getting to know the person, you're supposed to be asking questions, exchanging information, getting to know each other. However, the conversation is always one-sided. If you're dating someone right now, every time you engage, it's literally about them. They don't ask you no questions about you. And if you have something to say about you, they flip it and somehow turn the conversation back on them. Not only can this happen in dating situations, this can happen in friendly situations too. I used to work with this girl back when I did COVID, back before COVID, when I worked in corporate. I used to work with this girl and I worked for her for a few years. And I swear, everything was about her. I would go up to her desk and I would be talking about the meeting we have at 3:00. She would somehow make it about her. I go up to her. I'd be telling her my confessions that I should be telling the pastor. She'll pull her phone out and start as I'm literally talking to her. Like she's not even listening. She doesn't care. Why? Because the conversation isn't about her. If you're dating someone that is so focused on them, and you'll know that based on the questions that they ask you. If you're dating someone and they don't never ask you questions, like the one guy I dated that I'm referring to, he was a little self-centered. We had so many conversations. He was a talker. And he talked to me because generally with women, and he told me this, he's used to texting them and not really putting forth any effort, but he already knew from the gate, like, you're not going to text me into no early grave. So we would get on the phone and we would talk for hours. But 99% of the time, the conversation was about him. The one time he asked me about me, because he asked me what I got my degree in, I literally asked him, why did he ask me that? Because he's never asked me a question about me. And I literally said that to him because when I asked him, well, why did you ask me that? Because I was puzzled because all we do is talk about you. He was like, I wanted to know. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because you never seemed to ask me any questions about myself before. So it was just peculiar that he would do that. So if you're in a situation like that, you want to address it. I'm not saying this is a deal breaker. I'm saying if you're in a situation like this and the dude just always talks about himself, he never asks you anything, you got to nip that in the bud early on. You got to call it out early on. And of course, we never do that with an attitude. The Be Wiley basis to communication. Watch your tone, watch your delivery, watch your body language. And you want to inquire and you can add a little humor onto it too. I always say, when you're addressing something, put a little humor on it, specifically if you're uncomfortable with using your voice. A lot of women are uncomfortable with using their voice and speaking up, or if it's just an uncomfortable conversation for you, whatever the reason, throw a little humor under there, be light with your delivery, but stand on business with your delivery because maybe he's not aware. And some people may not be aware because no one has ever addressed it or called them out on this behavior. So if that's the situation, that's why I say watch your delivery and your tone, because if they've never been called out or had anybody point that kind of behavior out, they could be totally in the dark about it. And you're the first person to come up to them and say, hey, what's up with this? It's all about energy. It's all about me energy. It's giving you're really not interested in me. You just want to monologue me to death, and you literally want to TED talk me into an early grave. Like, how do we get to know each other if all you do is talk about you? So that can be considered a toxic trait. Another toxic trait when we're talking about toxic individuals is, and this is really not good, it's guys who manipulate. They try to manipulate situations. Like, dude, don't try to manipulate me. Don't try to finagle me. Don't try to finesse me. Don't try to say something to try to bait me in to a date, to bait me into talking to you. Don't try to swindle me. Like anybody who tries to manipulate, they do all those things, sir. Do not sell me a wolf ticket. I don't want it. So you have to just have your head on a swivel. You always have to listen to your gut. And if you're questioning if he's being authentic, if this is too good to be true, perhaps you are being manipulated. However, you have to listen to your gut. You have to use great discernment, and you have to use common sense at the end of the day, because everything that comes flying out of these guys' mouths could be a form of manipulation to try to finagle you into getting into something that they want you to do for them, to serve them. It always comes back. There's a pattern here when we're talking about toxic behavior. It usually spins around to them. It usually goes back to him and what he can get out of it without actually investing nothing into it. But they want everything out of it. That's manipulative. All right. And so number 4, this is one of my favorite ones, and not in a good way. It's my favorite because my nose is it was not like this before I got on here. Let me take another sniff of this because I know y'all don't want to hear me sniffing. Just give me one more second. So anyway, number 4, this guy's the worst. The guy, and these toxic characteristics don't mean that every dude is going to have this. He may have 1, he may have 2, or he may have all 6 that I wrote down. And this other one is my favorite because a lot of guys have this, oh, I think that all women are the same. All women think the same. All women are the same. All women breathe the same. All women literally share one brain. I literally was friends with a guy for a very long time who actually believed that every woman shared the same brain. Every woman does X, Y, and Z, no matter where she came from, her background, her skill level, her education. He had convinced himself that all women are, number 1, dumber than he is, just plain dumb, just in general, and that we all think alike on the same playing field. And I was just like, that is insane. Don't ever think that all women are the same, number 1, and that our women are dumb, number 2. So this kind of guy, you'll know it because in conversation, which leads me to number 5, he's going to try to outsmart you. He's going to try to prove that he has more knowledge than you. And another thing that this toxic son of a bee will do is he'll explain something so simple, and you'll be like, well, that don't make sense because it's illogical and irrational. And then he'll repeat it over and over. And then when you're just like, I got it the first time, he'll be like, no, you just don't understand what I'm saying. Oh, no, I do understand what you're saying. It's just stupid. Like a lot of these guys with this, I want to be smarter than you, I want to prove that you're dumb, they will go after women, the low-hanging fruit women. I've talked about this before in a video, the low-hanging fruit women, because they know these women will sit back, and whether they are educated or not, whether they have common sense or not, they will mute their mouth just to have any dude, specifically this dude. So they'll sit back and not say anything just to have this piece of a man. And this particular kind of guy won't ever date a woman that can challenge him. Oh, no. Because he has to be the smartest one in the room. No matter how dumb he is, he got his dumb behind has to be smarter than the dumbest other person in the room. And it makes no sense. And you shouldn't even want to do like that. Number 1, you shouldn't want to do this self-serving. You shouldn't want to do this self-centered. You should want to do this always trying to prove that he's smarter than you. You should never be wanting to date a person that goes out of his way if you have conflict and it's been a week and he come back 7 days later saying, saying, oh, I got proof that you was wrong last Sunday when you said the Eagles didn't beat the Hawks. Like, boom, I got it. I told you. And it's just like, sir, like, what are you doing? That's toxic, right? And you'll know it's toxic when it doesn't feel good. What is toxic? It gets on the inside. And what does it do? Create chaos. What does toxicity do? Toxic fumes get in your body like poison, as a poison that it is, and it literally destroys everything in sight. And you don't want to be destroyed. So stop dating these toxic dudes. All right. So number 6 is the last one when we're talking about toxic. And I'm going to write something down so I won't forget. Number 6, when we're talking about toxic characteristics, is, oh, I like this one too. All of these I like because I've experienced all of these. And all right, guys, thank you for showing me love. I see the hearts. I see the hearts up there. Thank you. I appreciate it. So the number 6 thing, when we're talking about toxic characteristics, is this dude does not take you serious. This dude does not take you serious. I remember the last person, and I wasn't even dating this guy, but he liked me. But I met him like through business people, because when I first moved here, all right, so I have a background in radio. I did on air. I was an on air personality for Radio Disney when I lived in Arkansas. I had my own show for a couple years. I did a commercial for Radio Disney. Like, I was that girl. So I had that, and then I had worked for another radio station before Radio Disney. So I have radio producing experience, on air talent, all the things. Did that. When I moved here, I wanted to get back on the radio. So I was networking with some people here. I met a lot of people here, a lot of DJs, a lot of people who work for the radio. I met this one dude. And I remember just being cool with him or whatever. And we have been friends for years. Well, low key, he liked me. Just put it that way. He was attracted to me. He liked me. However, he had only seen because what he does is on the party scene. He's out in the clubs. He's mixing and mingling. That's just part of his job. And so when he would see me, that's what he would see me at. He would see me at the club having a good time, at the lounges, hookah bars, whatever. So he would see the turned up side of me. But when it came to the business side of me, because I do have a degree, I do work every day. I've been working since I was 14. Like, I was in the field and area where he was on radio getting paid. But he, for some reason, could not fathom that I had a brain outside of the club. And I'm just like, sir, like, what the F? And that's not the first time that has happened to me. I've told y'all guys a story on another video that I had a best friend in college. So I had a best friend in college. We met in college, and then we were doing our thing. We would hit the clubs, hunt tea, like any other college person would do, go out, have a good time. But guess what? I was in school and I got my studies and I graduated. I graduated on time. Period, point blank. I got my degree. Thank you. Well, anyway, so I remember when it was time for me to graduate, we'll call him a club promoter. This club promoter would throw parties, the biggest, best parties all over town in the city that I lived in. Everybody knew him. He was cool. He was just like always cool, had the best parties. Everybody went to them. I was always going to his parties for many years. My whole college career, I went to his parties, didn't miss. I also didn't miss class, and that's why I graduated college. Well, I remember when it was time for me to graduate college, and I literally graduated. He was like, no, you didn't. You did not graduate. You absolutely did not. And he wanted to argue with me about me getting my degree and I'm just like, what do you mean, sir? Like, why would I lie about graduating? However, when it came to my best friend at the time, he didn't question had she graduated, and she didn't graduate at that time. She later on went to graduate years later, but she didn't graduate when I graduated, and we was going to the same parties. But for some reason, he had made this judgment upon me because he had saw me out in the clubs doing my thing. And I guess he didn't think that I wasn't, what is the word when it's more to you, multifaceted? That's the word that I'm looking for. But he couldn't fathom the fact that I had more dimensions to me. I wasn't just this party girl. No, I also have a job. I worked 3 jobs in college at one point and had a full schedule. I also went to class and passed my classes and put myself through college on my own. I found the resources to put myself through college. I graduated, and I was the first person to graduate in my family out of college, like all the things that he don't know about, but he's too busy making assumptions. So you just don't want to be making assumptions about people. Specifically, you don't want to date a guy who, let's say you meet him out on the club, or you meet him out at brunch, or you meet him just like in a social setting where there's alcohol, there's dancing. You don't ever want to meet a guy. You can meet a guy like that. You never want to continue to date a guy who thinks that's as far as you can go. Or you all you are is a good time girl, because that is the category he will put you in. He will put you in a good time girl, and ain't nobody about to try to prove themselves, nor should you, that you're more than a good time girl, that you're actually a scholar, that you actually have a career, that you actually have a brain that you use, that you're actually smart, and that you're actually well traveled, and whatever else that comes with you, that you actually aren't out here in these streets every weekend, but you was just out for a birthday or a special occasion, or you just got celebrating a promotion at work. So if you're dating a guy like this who doesn't take you serious and just is only into you because of what you look like, that is a problem. And that is a problem you need to address, or not, because I remember kind of going back and forth. This is back when I used to play tennis, and I would go back and forth with these Negroes. I remember when I was going back and forth with him, and I didn't get nowhere with him because his mind was made up about me. And so with you, sometimes it's okay. Majority of the times it's swell to walk away from dudes who only see you as being one dimensional and only sees you for your looks and that you look good, you're aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and there's no more left to you. There's no reason to go back and forth or date that kind of guy, because that is a toxic way of thinking that a person can only be of one thing. A person can, two things can be true. I can be a college student that parties, as I did, and I can be a person that gets my degree as well with my 3 jobs and my full load. Boom. So those are some of the toxic traits. Those were 6. I'll go back over them for you. The first one is self-serving. Don't like dating a self-serving dude. No. Number 2, self-centered guys. These are toxic traits we're talking about. Number 3, manipulative guys. Number 4, guys who think all women think alike and who are stupid. Number 5, guys who want to be smarter than you. They want to outsmart you. Oh, yeah. So I'll get to 6. And then number 6, and then I'll circle back to 5. Number 6, he doesn't take you serious outside of your aesthetics. He just thinks you just are who you are. You're one dimensional. So number 5, and I'll leave it with that. And then we'll get to the stuck and unstuck. My nose is out of control, guys. I'm sorry. So number 5, when I was saying that the guy wants to be smarter than you, he wants to have read more books than you. I remember when I was talking to Mac Daddy years ago. So that's a whole Mac Daddy. If you don't know who Mac Daddy is, there's a story on my YouTube. There's actually a video on my channel. I would never use his real name. It's Silent Bob, and there's Mac Daddy. And so I talk about those 2 guys that literally took me on down to hell and made me wake up and become B. Wiley. So anyway, Mac Daddy. All right, so a little backstory. A little backstory with me. I love to read. I have been a bookworm since I have been able to read, and I know that I passed it along to my son, because before he was even in school, he was literally in daycare. He read the logo. What does it say? Not the logo. He read the saying on the Walmart bag. I don't know what it said on the Walmart bag. I just remember I was on the phone with the guy I was dating at the time back in Arkansas. He read it. Like, who are you, baby Einstein? And so when I was in school, I would do the bookets. I would get that good old personal pan pizza, as many as I could. Anytime they gave that personal pan pizza away, yo girl, reading. Judy Blume is and has always been my favorite author. I would read Judy Blume. I would read Stephen King. I remember reading Waiting to Exhale. Your girl was reading books, and I will read you all the way down to the ground right now. I have plenty of books. I lost a lot of books in the flood. When my townhouse got flooded, and I lost majority of my stuff, so I lost a lot of books in that flood, but I still have some books, and I'm adding to my collection as we speak. Well, not only do I read books, I listen to audiobooks, and I listen to anything that can push my mindset further to manifest the things that I want. There was this particular man that I listened to online, it's not Napoleon Hill. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, it doesn't matter. There was a guy who's been dead a long time ago. Before I was even born, I think he probably passed away. But he gives you the best, Earl Nightingale. That's his name. Look him up. Earl Nightingale. If you're ready to expand your mind literally and get what you want and manifest it and you want the blueprint to it, Earl Nightingale is your guy. So anyway, I have been listening to this thing about Earl Nightingale, God, long before I had met Mac Daddy. Can't tell you, so far before I even knew he was who he was. And so anyway, so then me and Mac Daddy have been talking, getting to know each other, and it's been a few months. Then Mac Daddy sends me something about Earl Nightingale. And the craziest part of it, it's called The Strangest Thing. So The Strangest Thing, just look it up. Earl Nightingale, Strangest Thing, thank me later. So I have been wanting to find The Strangest Thing, but I couldn't remember the title of it. And so, you know how you have something in your mind and then boom, somebody brings it up later on. It's like, oh my God, thank you. Or if you're thinking about somebody and then they call you, it's just, or text you, it's just like, oh my gosh, it was like that. And so when he sent it to me, he was just like, just have I didn't know what it was. He was just like, it was a link and he was just like, just have an open mind about it. So I was like, all right. I click on the link and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even listen to it, child, because I had heard it 1,000 times before. So I instantly wrote him back and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting to listen to this. I forgot the name of it. I could not find it. I've been searching for it. He did not like that. He did not like that. It was like I was one-upping him. And it's not a competition, number one. And that's another thing. That's a bonus. There is a toxic trait when a guy thinks you're trying to one-up them. When they think that you're trying to get the upper hand, you're trying to get the power, and he wants to have the power, he wants to have the control, he wants you to like him more than you like you, he wants you to like him more than he likes you. That is toxic AF, and that is a bonus for you. Thank you. But with him, when I did that, it was just like, it was almost like it's the audacity of me to know about this. Like, oh, I just knew I was smarter than you. I was further along in life with you and I judged you. What he did is he judged me and he was sadly mistaken. So you never want to be in a situation like that where a guy is thinking he's smarter than you. He's trying to outsmart you. He does not take you serious because that means he doesn't respect you. He doesn't respect you as being someone that can go a little deeper, that can go further than the surface. He just sees you as this pretty little thing that he can do whatever he wants with, mold into whatever he wants it to be, pick your butt up, and then put your butt back down. Don't be dating guys like that because that's not a quality man. That's just some dude that needs something to do, and so he chose you. Don't be chose by none of these dudes that have any of these characteristics because that is not a quality man. I don't care how much money he make, what his house look like, what his car look like. It's about his character. And that was a hard lesson I had to learn years ago. Character. What does that look like? I remember my boss at the time, I was telling her about Mac Daddy and how he ghosted the F out of me once it was all said and done. And she said to me, she was like, that speaks on his character. He has flawed character. And I've carried that conversation with me and her we had that day, and that has stuck with me. Because if his character, he can have all the money in the world, he can be nice, he can be charming, he can be good looking. However, his character is everything. And we have to put that over. That character must override everything. And if that character is trash, everything else will crumble to the ground. You got it? I hope so. So, all right, now we're going to switch gears to the woman who feels stuck. I spoke briefly on this before because it gets right underneath my skin when I watch Divorce Court or Love and Hip Hop, just to name a couple shows, or Couples Court. And the girl, so they be with dudes who just be outrageous and disrespectful. And then they'll say to the judge, you see what I got to deal with? And I scratch my head, like literally right now, my head is itching. I literally scratch my head every time, like, sis, what do you mean? See what I got to deal with? But what makes you think you're obligated? Why are you obligated to deal with nonsense? Like, why are we convinced, some of us women, that we must deal with and tolerate nonsense from the bottom of the barrel dude? Or he could be the most wealthiest dude ever, or the most good looking, or chiseled, or masculine, or whatever. Why are we sitting around and tolerating nonsense from a dude? Like, what is the reason? What is the benefit? What is the prize? You literally need to ask yourself, if you find yourself in a situation when this guy got a hand, like a hand of cards, and he just throwing these cards out, and every card, pick this card up, BS. Pick this card up, gaslighting. Pick this card up, manipulation. Pick this card up, cheating. Pick this card up, ugly than a muff. All right, I'm kidding. But seriously, you have to think about it. Like, literally ask yourself, what the F am I doing? Why am I tolerating this? And if this was my girlfriend, what would I say to her? What advice would I give her? You have to really get down to the nitty gritty. A lot of women don't want to do that. I've learned from being a life coach, being a friend, being a cousin, a niece, a coworker, being a human. I've learned that a lot of women are not willing to look within and say, you know what, I have had a pattern of doing this and that has not been working for me. I keep getting what I don't want. What can I do? What can I tweak? How can I challenge myself to evolve and change? You will be surprised, probably some women that's watching right now, that outright refuse to look within because somehow we've convinced ourselves that we're quality women. I told y'all before and I'll tell y'all again. I used to think I was a quality woman back before I was interested in Mac Daddy and Silent Bob. Even before them, I could have sworn, oh, I'm so cute. Oh my gosh, I'm cute. I got it going on. I got an education. Couldn't have been further from the truth. Of course, I'm attractive. Don't get that misunderstood. But so what? Like, looks can only take you so far, girl. Like, what else do you have going on? Because everything else was desperate and thirsty. Like, so why would that be attractive? It wasn't. It was not. However, so I had to look within. I had to roll the tape back on who I was, why I was doing these things, what my patterns were, who I kept attracting, why they were the same dude in a different body, what can I do different? And like, this is literally what I've done. I started years and years and years ago. However, the point is I did it, and that's why I'm here now. And that's why I don't attract guys like that. I don't attract guys who are coming in to F stuff up. I don't attract guys who are trying to manipulate me. I don't attract guys who are emotionally unavailable. I don't attract guys who just want to pick me up and put me down. No, I attract a different kind of guys that are worth my time, actually. And for you to do that, you must do the work first and then advance. Think about it as your job. I always relate things to jobs because we all got to work, right? Think about it as your job. Are you going to advance to the next level at work, to your next promotion, to your next position, if you're unwilling to do the work? If you see what needs to be done and you see how you need to go to the conferences and the meetings and things to educate yourself, are you just going to be like, well, I know I need to do that to make an extra 50 grand a year, but I'm good where I'm at. And maybe if they want to pick me, they'll pick me. No, you wouldn't do that. You will see that money because dollars make sense. And you'll be like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. Got it. I'm going to get that 50 grand. I know I can do it. So why not treat your job like you why not treat the dudes that you're dating like you treat your job? If you're tired of getting bummy Bobby, if you're tired of getting homeless Henry who needs a place to stay, if you're tired of getting ain't got a car Carlos who need to borrow yours, if you're tired of getting lying Larry, who else? If you're tired of getting manipulating Marcus or weightlifting Wesley, whatever you want to call it, self-serving Stanley, like you got to do something about you because who's attracting these dudes? Who? You. It's the energy on you. And why do you like these kinds of guys if they're not actually what and who you see yourself being with long term and what you want to see for your life? And when we're speaking about long term, sure, we're all in a certain group of ages to where we're good as we are now, where I'm as young as I'm going to be right now. And you're aesthetically pleasing as you're going to be right now. However, as we go along, things change. And you have to, in the back of your mind, you got to think about when things change. Am I going to be able to have a conversation with this guy? Are we going to be able to sit on the porch with our grandkids and drink coffee, look outside, look at the trees, and talk about whatever comes to mind? Can we talk about anything that comes to mind? Or are we just going to sit at each other and it be awkward? Like, there are so many people in awkward dating situations. Like, I don't know how y'all doing it. Like, I think about it. I think about it all the time. Like, for the people that just go after dudes and girls just solely based for looks, of course, ain't nobody trying to date no Ugmo. Got it. However, for y'all that are deliberately going after dudes and dating dudes and dudes who date women, specifically because they're aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and that's about as far as you want to take it. You want to be looking good with someone on the internet, on your social media, and when you go out in public, like, that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. When you're saying you want to be with your black love or white love, Asian love, whatever race love, your universal language love, universal race, whatever you want to call it, because everybody needs love across the race spectrum. But how does that make sense? When it's all said and done and you're 70, 80 years old, are you really gonna be thinking about what the dude looked like? Oh my gosh, he's so chiseled. He's 75. I mean, come on. It doesn't make sense. He'll be balding. He will be aging. Not saying everybody that ages is going to look a hot mess. Of course not. Why? Because as we get older in this world, of course, technology is something, and then skin cares are changing, and then we're living longer as humans, and we're looking younger longer because of the foods we're eating and how we care for ourselves. So sure, we're going to look a lot better than, let's say, our parents and our grandparents as they age and get older. Of course we are. And then if you're black, the black don't crack. I don't know if my black don't crack because I am black, but I am light skinned too. So I don't know. The jury's still out on that. So, so anyway, but the point is, seriously, you just want to think about financially financially, who said this? Shan said, financially irresponsible Fred. I swear, girl. Like, I need to come up with some names for these dudes because I was coming up with that off the rip. But yes, financially irresponsible Fred. You definitely don't want somebody that's financially irresponsible because he going to be looking out for a handout for you. He going to be pawning your grandma's jewelry that's been in the family for the last 100 years. He going to be stealing the VCRs and the DVDs and the box TVs and trying to sell them at the punch. So, all right, ladies. So, last but not least, what I just want to say, seriously, if you feel like you're stuck with this dude, you have to then question yourself, why do I feel stuck? Why do I feel like this is the best that I can do? Because we will convince ourselves that this sloppy Joe man is the best that we can do. But why do you think that about yourself? Why do you think you can't do better? What is it about you that's making your self-esteem be so low that you've decided that you can't go any higher? And whatever that is that's bringing your self-esteem down, I'm saying, if you can change it, change it. Everything we can change. But what you can change, tweak it. Tweak it, work on it. What you can't, accept it and ride out with it. But being stuck with someone, I can't handle that. I'm not going to receive that. And you shouldn't either. You should want the best for you. What if you passed away at old age? Well, you will. Let's say when you pass away at old age, and let's say right now, right? Right now you're dating this guy, you feel stuck, you know he's not the one, you don't feel like you can do better. So you just stick it out for another 20, 30 years. You're old and gray, you pass away at home, you lived a full life, you're 97. You see Jesus, and Jesus was like, let's rewind this tape, sis. Back when you was 25, 32, 47, 54, why did you stay stuck with that dude? Why did you think you were stuck with him? Let me show you what would have happened if you would have decided to choose you and do you and leave that dude. And he just rolls and plays the tape of what should have happened with all the glory. Like, wouldn't you be upset? Like, because you can't go back. Wouldn't you be like, oh my gosh, like what the F? And all it is just stepping out. It's just fear. A lot of things come with fear, specifically when it's dating and whatever your situation is, whether you've been dating this person for X amount of years, whether you've been single for quite some time and then you meet this dude and because it's been so long, you just stick with them, whatever the situation may be. Fear is the subtext. And I need for you to get away from that fear. Just talk yourself up and get out there and see what else is next. Because a lot of women in the Black community specifically have convinced ourselves that we have to ride or die. We have to bend over backwards. We have to percolate down to the floor, do the splits, do a cartwheel, run through a burning building just to keep a trifling piece of a dude when we don't. When all we have to do is be the best versions of ourselves at that moment as we're continuing to evolve. And then that energy will attract a quality man. And then if an old ignorant person bumps into you, because it happens, even when you're changing and you're going through and you're evolving, the universe will try you. The devil will try you by throwing in, Stanley with no money. And then what you do, because you know who you are, you say, boo, get out the way. So I just want for you to want more for yourself. Quit feeling like you're stuck when you're not. Decide you're ready to receive a quality guy. And while you're doing that, become the quality woman, because like attracts like. And so therefore you can push these bums out of the way. They can be bumming over there by themselves, and you can be living your best life with a quality man over there. So that ends my TED Talk for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I just wanted to talk about being stuck, being unstuck. I wanted to talk about the toxic characteristics. And also I wanted to tell you guys, I'm working on a silent treatment ebook. And it's just going to be a quick guide. It's not going to be anything long. It's probably going to just be like, I don't know, 25 pages or so. And I'm going to talk to you in the ebook, not talk to you, but I'm going to explain to you in the ebook what the silent treatment is, why guys do it, how to handle it, how to conquer it, how to dismiss it, and how to stay away from it, and why the dudes do it. And it's just going to be straight to the point, and I'm going to put as much energy as I can into it to break it all the way down. I'm going to do the silent treatment ebook first, because you ladies, that's what y'all want to hear about, because every time I talk about it, that is my most viewed subject across YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. So be on the lookout for that. I'll let y'all know when it's up. It'll be in my stand store as of right now. If you are into marketing, a lot of people are into marketing, wanting to know how to push their page, how to grow their page. I grew my TikTok natural and organically. I ain't paid for not one ad on my TikTok. I'm growing my YouTube naturally and organically. No ads there. So if you want to know how to market yourself and how to literally grow your channel, I'm putting a book in there tonight, an ebook. An ebook in there. It might be for free. If it's not going to be for free, it's going to be pretty inexpensive. I'm going to put that in there, my stand store right now. And my stand store is the link in my bio. So my stand store as of today has a free book in there called Daily Declarations. It's totally free for you. It's manifesting money, light, and romance in your life. Just quick affirmations that you can say every day. That's in my stand store. Another book that's in my stand store is Successfully Solving Single, the 3 S's to Solving Single. I break down self-care, self-development, self-reliance, why you need to master these 3 things before you start dating a guy. That is in my stand store. You can purchase it today. And then the other thing that's in there is a quick guide on it's called How to Communicate with Your Mate. It's in there as well. It gives you the Be Wiley basics on how to communicate with your mate. I give you examples of what a conflict look like and what you need to say to respond, your body language, all that jazz. So if you're interested in those things, those are all under $10. The Daily Declarations is free. And then the other two books are under $10. And then I'm going to put up an Instagram how to grow your Instagram, which can apply to TikTok, to YouTube. I'm putting that in there tonight. I'm sure it'll be under $10 if it's not for free. So if you want, and that's good content. It has literally, I think it's like 30 pages of literally me breaking down how you can grow your social media pages. And this ain't have nothing to do with ads. This have things to do with keywords, when to post, how to post, what to say, literally all at your hands for less than $10, or I might put it up there for free. It'll either be like $7 or it'll be free. That's going up. And then I have other things this week coming up. If you do want to market yourself, you don't know how to market yourself, I have another course called the UBC course. It's up there. It'll be up there this week. I'm just trying to get my stuff together, guys. That's what I've been doing since I haven't been on social media every single day. I've been in trainings, and I've been putting my website together, my email, and then I'm just doing the business part of things, which nobody knows about when you work for yourself. And it is hard work. It is long hours on the laptop. So I have a bunch of stuff coming up in my stand store. Just be on the lookout, but I'm going to tell you anyway in one of these videos. But as of now, there's 3 things in there. There's another book going up there tonight. I have to edit another book after that. And then I have a UBC course that it'll be 2 things that go in there tonight. The UBC course and that book that'll either be free or $7 that teaches you how to grow your Instagram that you can apply to all social media. All right. I think that is all. If you're here, feel free to make sure you like, follow, subscribe. And I think that's it. Follow me, Coach B. Wiley, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I just restarted my Instagram channel. I wasn't really posting on there, but there's a lot of videos on there. But if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty with the free content with me, YouTube is your friend. YouTube and TikTok, your best friends. Follow, subscribe. Outside of that, guys, if you ever want to ask me a question that I can address in a video, feel free, DM me right now. Ask me your question so I can address it in the video and we can go from there. But if you want to book me, feel free to book me, coachbwiley.net. It's on there. You can book me, or you can go to my mentor.life, Coach B. Wiley, book me there, and let's talk about your dating drama. All right. I'll be glad to help. Talk to you later. Happy Palm Sunday, guys.